handling this killing and the statements made by your officers in the Uganda Police Force in relation to this death? What kind of message are you trying to send to the Ugandan public?
Which statements, for example? Of course, it's very sad. Assistant Inspector Ariong lost his life in this very tragic statement. And it would not have happened if we had behaved lawfully during that day. Unfortunately, this was not the case. There was an unlawful procession which led to all this tragedy, because the Lord Mayor of this city, Honorable Elias Lukwago, misled the police that he was going to inspect the road and drainages of the city, only to discover that he had demobilized the usual suspects and started a demonstration.
What was he demonstrating against or for?
They started marching in a procession involving all these other people, and crowds started gathering. Obviously, the motive for the inspection of the road was now sidestepped. I have a copy of the letter the mayor wrote to the Inspector General of Police here on inspection of roads and drainage.
Did he indicate which roads he was going to visit, to inspect?
Not at all.
I would wish to inform you that I shall visit various parts of the city to inspect roads and drainage channels with a view of enhancing quality service delivery in the city. The program will kick off on Wednesday, 21st March 2012, starting with the Central Business District. By copy of this letter, all relevant authorities are hereby notified. And this was copied to the minister responsible for Kampala Capital City Authority, the commandant of the Metropolitan Police, the deputy Lord Mayor, the executive director, division mayors, authority all directs, all contractors. Do you have evidence, Mr. Minister, that the mayor was not inspecting roads and drainages in the city at the time of this incident?
If he was inspecting roads, why did he have to marshal all those crowds and involve leaders of opposition who had nothing to do with the inspection? What business had Kizza Besigye and the others to be there at that time on inspection of roads? What competencies do they have on road structures? One would have expected the Lord Mayor to be there with his technical staff and not opposition leaders. And we know what opposition leaders have been saying: to overthrow this democratically elected government. That has been the intention. So they have tried to capitalize on any opportunity to cause chaos in this city. And that's what happened that day.
And the handling of this incident by the police, are you as minister satisfied with the way police conducted itself?
Well, the police may have made some mistakes, but when instructions went out from amongst the opposition to be attacking the police, that's when the fracas broke out.
Someone in the opposition ranks ordered the crowds to attack the police?
To attack the police. That's when they started throwing stones at the police. That's how Ariong met his death.
So, Mr. Minister, are you treating the killing of Ariong as a murder, as an officer dying on duty? What are you treating it as?
That's what the police is now trying to investigate.
From what we understand, the people who were arrested in the swoop on Saturday, almost all of them have been released.
Well, the law allows them to be released on bail, and until investigations are thorough. The law allows that, but they were charged, as you know. Yes. We want to do it legally, properly, and thoroughly, but within the law.
So is this murder? You're charging it as murder?
The investigations will establish. But obviously, somebody has died. Somebody who has left a widow and 8 children, a very young family has gone on, has passed on in very tragic circumstances. What do you call that?
Mr. Minister, you said the police could have made some mistakes. What are these mistakes, in your view, at this stage?
For example, immediately this incident happened, they could have cordoned off the place to secure the evidence. But the stones were raining on them. I therefore can understand why everyone fled and not secured the scene properly, because that would have concretely established those who were involved. At that hour, when normally they put these yellow bands around it's an accident, a murder scene, so that the evidence is not tampered with. Those are some of the mistakes I'm thinking about.
Since Wednesday, some of the concerns that a section of the Ugandan public have been raising towards the Uganda government, and particularly the police force, has been that this is one death among many in incidents related to what we saw. I know that there is a report that was sent to the special UN rapporteur on incidents of torture that says 37 people, up to 37 people, were killed during walk to work between April and May last year, and especially on the day that Dr. Kizza Besigye was returned to Kampala. Why hasn't the government of Uganda and your ministry come out to show the same level of vigilance when those people have died as you have shown now?
Well, some people have been injured, others have been killed during these riots. Why put the blame on the police? Why don't you put the blame on those who instigated those riots? As you know, every time there are these demonstrations, that's when chaos reigns in this city. If there are no demonstrations, if there are no agitations, the city is peaceful. But the moment N4C and Kizza Besigye come on the streets, absolute chaos reigns. So why don't you put the responsibility on those people other than on the police?
Is it wrong for Ugandans to demonstrate if they feel unhappy about their government?
Absolutely not.
So why
Ugandans have every right to demonstrate so long as it is lawful, it is peaceful, it is unarmed.
Are those Ugandans who have been demonstrating been armed?
Haven't you seen the stones, the rocks being thrown?
Is that have those been classified as arms?
Those are weapons those can be classified as weapons, yes.
Have you asked, Mr. Minister, your officials in the ministry to profile for you what causes the chaos at these demonstrations?
I've just told you. These unlawful demonstrations, when they are not there, nothing happens. Show me an incident which has happened when these people have not walked around the markets, the bus parks, and the highways. Show me an incident where people have injured on account of that.
I can show you incidents where they have marched, and if they haven't been stopped or blocked by the police, there hasn't been chaos.
That's when we planned together. Honorable Nabila, the woman representative for Kampala City, has organized over 4 rallies around the city with us, with our police. And these rallies have always ended very well. But then other people take over, and that's when chaos reigns in.
Honorable Nabila is nursing an injury of the arm. I believe you sit with her in Parliament.
Yes.
She was hospitalized for some time because she says she was hurt in one of the incidents where police interfered with their programs.
Not during her rallies. She was injured when other people took over her rallies. In fact, I pity her because her messages have been overtaken by these other rowdy behaviors. The messages she has been delivering to her constituencies, I don't think she took them. What now emerges are these riots and injuries and chaos. Yet she has had very successful rallies in Namwana, in Nansana, here in Kitintale and elsewhere without any problems.
And all of them ended in chaos?
Most of them.
Why?
Because the people who want to cause chaos and overthrow this democratically elected government want to overthrow it. They think they can cause insurrection to create chaos and overturn the government. And yet I think they are mistaken.
So, Mr. Minister,
Ugandans have expressed their verdict in February 2011, and there's a government, a legitimate government in power, and this government should be allowed to run its course until 2016.
and in that time, no opposition should raise a finger.
No.
Is that what you're suggesting?
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm insisting on lawfulness, on legality, on being unarmed. That way they can demonstrate. That way they can oppose policies of government. But if they are violent, I'm sorry. We have to take our responsibility as government to maintain law and order.
Okoth Ochola, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, speaking on Friday during the Requiem Mass for the late John Michael Ariong, said the red flag had been raised. Would you understand what that statement meant?
Deputy Inspector General of Police is a very senior police officer. The number 2 in the police force. You can see one of his men has been injured. They lost his life in tragic circumstances. So he must be concerned about the men and women he leads. If he says a red flag, he's speaking on behalf of his team.
But what does
he must protect them.
What does that statement mean, Mr. Minister?
You better ask him.
You are his minister, you would have asked him.
I don't have to explain everything the Inspector General of Police says or his deputy.
But that is a serious statement, Mr. Minister.
You better ask him.
You are his supervisor.
I'm his supervisor on the side of law, that he must follow the law established in doing police work under the Constitution and under the Police Act.
Action has been that he's rallying the officers below him to be on one side and the Ugandan population on the other when it comes to political demonstration.
I don't think the police can act on another illegality. The mandate of the police is to maintain law and order. It would be wrong, it would be unfortunate if they acted otherwise, and I don't think that's what his Deputy Inspector General Chola meant when he made that statement.
Mr. Minister, we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we return, we'll be answering the question of those other deaths that have occurred in this country related to demonstrations. How many have you actually investigated? How many reports do you have to show cause of death and how they can be mitigated? We'll be right back.
KFM Hot Seat. The hottest debate on all relevant topics.